Shai Franklin, who joins us live from New York. He is a senior fellow at the Dietrich Bonhoeffer Institute. Thanks very much indeed for being with us today. So these are quite unprecedented scenes, aren't they? What do you make of them?
Well, I think, showing the demonstrators outside, which is obviously far less than a million, it looks like it's a regular kind of demonstration, protest that we've seen in various places around the United States, always almost at the instigation of the president. And the fact that he tweeted, almost not even in his own words, a belated caution that please be nice to the Capitol police officers after he spent the last 6 months. And even today at the rally, he spoke, basically exhorting mobs to wreak vengeance against Democrats and against so-called Republicans in name only, who are the actual Republicans. Trump was not a Republican until 4.5 years ago. So what we see really going on, if you could switch to there was a photograph taken inside a gallery outside the Senate chamber. And I've been there a few times myself. You have to go through 3 levels of security check. They check for weapons each time. They check your identification, if you have a reason to be there. And the idea that these people stormed in, they went up a level at least to get into that gallery. And they're flying a Confederate flag in there over 150 years after the Confederacy was defeated, all at the instigation of the President of the United States. This is an insurrection. And the people that you've been interviewing may be peaceful protesters. But there is a number of people that are going in there, again, at the instigation of the President of the United States. The Vice President did not really do anything courageous today by telling the President that he couldn't actually do what the President told him he wanted him to do. It would be like walking on water. He can't do it. What would be courageous is if he went back now to meet with the members of the cabinet, President Trump's cabinet, and got them to sign a letter invoking the 25th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, which allows for removal of a president when he or she is acting in a way that suggests incompetence and a danger to the republic, which this is. So that's where we are now. And I would encourage your producers your correspondents not to interview the people who are there. That they're doing this so that they can get their message heard. Their message was heard on Election Day. It was heard in the courts. It's been heard in state capitals across the United States. Now it's over. And their message now is that they want to take away the rights of all Americans. They're not going to tell you that. So I would encourage you to interview politicians, interview the people who are actually committing violence to say, how do they justify the violence? But they should not be rewarded by having a place on PRT for their voice now, merely because they are acting against the United States of America and against the rule of law.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. As you speak to us, we can see some slightly more agitated scenes. It looks like some tear gas has been deployed in that crowd. We can see, I wouldn't call them armed, I would call them wearing suits, kind of policemen moving through that crowd. So that's the situation that we are looking at on our screens right now. And this was more or less President Trump's last shot at having the election turned in his favor, or at least that's how it would seem that he saw it. And where does he go from here?
Well, let me just emphasize again that the photograph that I saw of these protesters, let's call them insurrectionists, there's one double door separating them from the Senate chamber, where the senators, the duly elected representatives of the people, sit. The idea that they could just storm in there. As I'm speaking, they could be storming in there. So it is the president's last chance, but there could be a lot of damage done. There could be members of the Congress of the United States could be incapacitated, could be killed right now, and their staff, and the Capitol Police. And if that happens, then it's out of Trump's hands. Like, he sent these people there to storm the Capitol and then says, "Oh, but don't be violent." Well, it's out of his hands now, and they understand his wink and his nod. He will be leaving the White House on January 20th. It looks like he may leave the day before anyway. And most of his people will be leaving with him, the people that he appointed to positions. The question now that the new Attorney General has been named by President-elect Biden is whether this Attorney General and the career prosecutors in the Department of Justice will go after Trump for the various crimes he's committed up until now, and the crime today of insurrection and sedition, and members of his cabinet, including his acting Secretary of Defense, who have suborned this, who have abetted this. Pence is also not of totally clean hands, just because now, in January of 2021, he finally didn't do something that he is not able to do anyway. So there will be not vengeance, but Trump is not going to stop, and the people who are with him aren't going to stop the criminality when they leave office. So I think my opinion is that there needs to be some professional law enforcement and judicial inquiry into what happened, so that they can be brought to justice and so that they can be prevented from committing further crimes against the United States. All through due process, though. This is what Biden has made clear. This will not be a politically driven process as Trump has done. This will be through the career prosecutors. If they make a determination that there's an investigation to go after, then they'll do it. If they find charges to bring, they'll bring charges. And we will hopefully restore the rule of law over the next 4 years. It may take longer, though.
Okay, Shai Franklin, thanks very much indeed for joining us.